Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. With Election Day coming up tomorrow, we want to encourage full participation by all of you watching. Make every vote count and make it a safe and peaceful one. And while schools are closed today and tomorrow to allow for the vote, it's orientation week for the other days. Whether you're heading to a new school or returning to your home-based institution, we wish you all the very best. And with that said, we have an informative and enlightening show lined up just for you. We'll have more after this message and the news. Please stay with us.
Did you know that you can vote without the new voter ID card? Once you're registered to vote, that is, your name is on the voters list, you can vote in the upcoming election. If you don't have your voter ID card, visit your polling station on Election Day and our trained Election Day workers will assist you. That was a message from the Electoral Office of Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Jabertha Atkinson, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, September 2, 2025. Approximately 500 residents from across St. Andrew have signed up to receive assistance under the government's Solidarity Program, which is targeting 50,000 vulnerable Jamaicans for cash grants of $20,000 each. The residents were engaged during a Solidarity Live community engagement session held at the Jamaica Chinese Goodwill Infant School in St. Andrew on Friday. Among those who turned out were senior citizens, persons with disabilities, small business owners, informal low-income workers, and unemployed youth. Addressing the attendees, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness emphasized that the Solidarity Program was a hallmark initiative for the government.
The Solidarity Program is to say that your government stands with you, and no matter how little it is, you should get back something. And that is the undertaking of my administration and your government.
Dr. Holness said documenting beneficiaries was an important first step in transparency and ensuring accountability of funds disbursed through the program.
Once you are registered in our system, it becomes easier the next time around when we do Solidarity 2 or Solidarity 3, because you would already be in our system. So a part of the Solidarity Program is to pull people who are informal in our society into the formal administration to make sure that we know you and it is easier to provide the benefit and to account for the benefit.
The government has officially broken ground for the Jamaica Music Museum, which it describes as a major milestone in the preservation and celebration of the country's rich musical heritage. The ceremony took place on Sunday at the Institute of Jamaica in downtown Kingston. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange says the government has been seeking space for the iconic music museum since 2017.
This groundbreaking milestone marks a new chapter, ladies and gentlemen. A living, monumental edifice that will reflect the past, the present, and the future. I envision this state-of-the-art building that will showcase a more expanded collection, a museum that resonates with pulsating performances and Jamaican cultural expressions. It will convey aesthetics deeply rooted in Africa, the cradle of our diverse heritage.
The ceremony also included the opening of two significant exhibitions, the Natural History Museum of Jamaica Permanent Exhibition and the Jamaica Music Museum's new showcase titled African to Jamaican, Music and Creolized Black Culture. Minister Grange is encouraging members of the public, especially students, creatives, and cultural enthusiasts, to view the exhibitions and participate in the museum's ongoing educational programs.
By engaging fully, you will help inspire innovation, cultivate pride, foster solidarity, and strengthen our cultural, creative, and scientific industries.
The Jamaica Music Museum and the Natural History Museum of Jamaica are managed through the Institute of Jamaica, an agency of the Ministry of Culture. As students return to classrooms for the 2025-2026 academic year, parents are being encouraged to take a more active role in their learning. The call was made by Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, during her National Back-to-School message on Sunday.
Parents, please remain engaged. Be present at PTA meetings, check homework, and encourage your children daily. When the home and school work together, our children will succeed.
Minister Morris-Dixon also outlined several initiatives for the new school year. These include timetabled reading sessions for grades 1 to 3, the distribution of more storybooks, expanded math and English camps, and the deployment of additional specialist educators. There's also the completion of a new diagnostic center at CASE in Portland, the launch of an education management information system to track student performance in real time, and a $9 billion program to provide hot meals to needy children 5 days per week. In addition, $628 million has been allocated to upgrade 202 schools island-wide. While that is in motion, the Education Minister is also urging students to challenge themselves this year by giving their best, while at the same time showing respect to their teachers and classmates.
I wish every student, every principal, every teacher, every parent and guardian, every school board member, every member of the ancillary and support staff, and every school community across Jamaica a successful and inspiring school year.
With a push to increase export within the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise MSME sector, 25 exporters have been trained in data privacy and protection practices. The training was provided recently through a 2-day workshop hosted by the Jamaica Business Development Corporation JBDC. The theme was Data Privacy, a Key to Going Global. The JBDC says data protection is a key driver of global competitiveness, which will empower Jamaican exporters to build trust with international partners, avoid compliance risks, and secure a stronger foothold in global markets. The training forms part of the agency's continued efforts to support MSMEs in meeting regulatory and business requirements for local and international competitiveness. And finally, residents of Cascade in Portland are being urged to report individuals who tamper with the newly installed water system. The Cascade water supply system was rehabilitated at a cost of $40 million by the Rural Water Supply Limited and commissioned recently. Making the call, Member of Parliament and Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport Darvaz stressed that a zero-tolerance approach would be taken. He said more than 800 residents were directly affected by the illegal activity.
You, the residents, know who is doing it. And if you don't want to report it to the police, then you have the problem. Because if there are people interfering with the regulation of the water and tampering with government property, they must be held accountable.
The Cascade water supply system comprises a new storage tank, distribution lines, and other infrastructure designed to provide residents with a reliable supply of potable water. And that's it for GIS News Today. I'm Jabertha Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
If you will be exercising your rights at the polls in the September 3 general elections, here are a few things you need to know. 1. You can have your cell phone, but you will not be allowed to use it. Taking pictures when casting your ballot is illegal.
2. You are not allowed to campaign at polling stations.
3. The process is secret. Therefore, you are not allowed to disclose your preference of candidate to anyone at the polling station.
And 4. While the wearing of party colors is not prohibited,
neutral colors are recommended. But if you choose to wear party colors, the garment must not have the image of any candidate, symbol, or written slogans.
As we roll into a new school term, something else is about to roll out, and that's phase 1 of the National Rural School Bus Program. Minister of Transport Daryl Vaz has a very important message about the program that's set to begin on Monday, September 8th.
The following is a message from the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport.
My fellow Jamaicans, especially our rural children and parents, good evening. I'm proud to announce that Phase 1 of the National Rural School Bus Program will begin on Monday, September 8, 2025, with 55 of the 122 routes covering all parishes being served by 60 of the 110 rural school buses. Thousands of students from 258 of 858 schools across all parishes will benefit with the introduction of the National Rural School Bus Program. Far too long, rural students across Jamaica have been unable to attend school regularly because of high transportation costs and inadequate public transport for children. Many children have been forced to travel on foot or in unsafe vehicles, are exposed to numerous risks including traffic accidents, crime and disrespect from the ever so popular cry, "No Schoolers." That ends this September morning. It has always been the policy of this government that all students should have and must have access to reliable, affordable, safe and efficient transportation to and from school. As a rural MP, I've seen firsthand the stress of our parents and the struggles of our children. This isn't about politics, it's personal. I've made it my mission to ensure the National Rural School Bus Program becomes a reality. It is a priority of this administration and one of the most rewarding achievements of my political career. Data from the Jamaica Constabulary Force indicates that in 2023, 18 students died in traffic accidents. In 2024, 24 students. And so far since the start of 2025, 12 students have lost their lives tragically from being involved in traffic accidents. Not to mention the 792 students injured during this period. If those numbers aren't sufficient for us to act now, then what is? This government decided to act through the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport in partnership with the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. After careful deliberation and due diligence, we accepted an unsolicited proposal for the importation of 110 school buses to urgently start to solve the transportation needs of our rural students. From day one, we have been transparent and honest about this plan. These buses are specially manufactured for the safety of students and have been used to transport students in the United States since 1937. They are safe and reliable. These same buses have been used in sections of rural Jamaica to transport students for many decades. So this is not an election ploy as some would want to believe. This was a carefully calculated action plan to alleviate the stress and strain of our rural students and parents. No more talking, no more delay, no more leaving our rural students to fend for themselves. These 110 school buses will be deployed in a phased implementation system. As mentioned earlier, 60 of the buses will begin operating along 55 rural routes come September 8th, with the other 40 being gradually introduced between September to November on 67 additional rural routes, totaling 122 routes servicing 258 rural schools across Jamaica, and 10 additional buses will be reserved to ensure continuity of the fleet and service. This will complement rural routes in Clarendon and St. Thomas already being served by the JUTC. This service will come at no cost to parents and students for the first 2 months, September and October. After that, it will be $50 per trip per child. This will be significant savings for rural families when compared to previously paying between $300 and $600 per child per day for transportation to school. Parents will no longer have to choose which child goes to school. All rural children will now be able to go to school every day, allowing them to maximize their full potential. It is inequitable for parents in rural Jamaica that what it costs in transportation to send one child to school daily in rural Jamaica could send between 10 and 15 children to school in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region. This ends now. I'm also pleased to announce that 12 of these rural school buses will serve 8 special needs schools in Phase 1, with the introduction of 1 more in Phase 2. As we continue to serve our rural students and parents, more schools, more children with special needs will be added to this program. Following last month's testing of the buses on all 122 routes, changes have been made to the sizes of the remainder of the buses that will be shipped to allow for the ease of access to some rural roads. Where safety is concerned, I'm happy to report that all 60 buses that will roll out in September are ready for the Jamaican roads. All doors have been changed to the left side, all tires have been replaced with new ones, and all 60 buses fully serviced. The installation of modern features such as GPS tracking, accessible by parents, speed limiters, onboard surveillance cameras, geofencing, and a cashless payment system have been completed. Our parents will be able to monitor the movement of their children to and from school. This government is ensuring that our commitments to the Jamaican people are kept. We know you value action and performance. We will continue to expand the fleet of the Rural School Bus Program over the next 2 fiscal years. By the end of 27-28 financial year, all 14 parishes will have sufficient school buses to serve the 858 rural schools across the island. We have started with 258 and we are committed to servicing the other 600 rural schools across the island by 2028. This is my commitment to you. Despite the naysayers and the doubters of this initiative, I am happy but not surprised that a strong majority of well-thinking Jamaicans support the Rural School Bus Program as a well-needed national benefit for rural Jamaica. I will continue my efforts to ensure that all rural students can travel to school safely and economically in a dedicated, fit-for-purpose school bus. But we're not done yet. Not only will our rural students benefit from reliable transportation, UWI and UTech students will no longer have to fear leaving class at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Through the JUTC, several routes that serve UWI and UTech will be extended. These include Route 19AX from UWI UTech to Greater Portmore. This bus will depart UWI's back gate at 9:15 p.m. and then pick up UTech. Route 24EX from UWI UTech to Spanish Town will leave UWI's back gate at 8:45 p.m. and 9:15 and then pick up UTech. Route 45EX from UWI UTech to Meadowbrook will leave UWI's back gate at 8:30 p.m. and then pick up UTech. Route 95EX from UWI UTech to Bull Bay will leave UWI's back gate at 9:15 p.m. then pick up at UTech. A new route will also be introduced. 508 from Old Harbour to UWI Front Gate and UTech via Spanish Town. This will depart Old Harbour at 5:15 a.m. and 6:50 p.m. and UWI Front Gate 4 p.m. and 9:10 p.m. In addition, arrangements are being made to extend this service to all tertiary level students and institutions in short order. Not only will the JUTC be extending its routes, but all tertiary students will have valid school identification card will also travel free on buses for September and October. JUTC is committed to ensuring that all commuters particularly our students, have safe, reliable transportation. As Minister, I've been active and attentive to the needs and requests of you, the public, and together we can dramatically improve public transport in Jamaica, with much more to be done. For far too long, our students have suffered and have been preyed on by rogue transport operators, giving the hard-working and law-abiding operators a bad name. As Minister with responsibility for transport, I say no more. It is time for our students to hear schoolers only. This is now their time. Let us choose to protect our students. Jamaica, this minister and this government does not make promises. We deliver on commitments. We are committed to launching the National Rural School Bus Program this September and expanding it to all 858 schools within 2 years. Meanwhile, regrettably and unfortunately, the opposition has categorically stated that if elected, they will scrap the rural school bus system just as they did in 2012. Jamaicans, the choice is yours. May God continue to bless Jamaica, the land we love.
This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. Jamaica, we are more than politics. We are a people bound by pride, respect, and one love. As Election Day comes closer, remember, your voice matters, your vote matters, and so does your conduct. No violence, no intimidation, no tearing down of signs or each other's dignity. We can bring back the love for our neighbors, or communities, or Jamaica.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Political Ombudsman.
Hello and welcome to Eastern Roundup, where we highlight the most impactful stories from Eastern Jamaica. I am Michaela Anderson-Gordon. In this episode, we take a look at
International Fishermen's Day celebration in Portland. Anota Bay gets newly refurbished fire station. 5 new homes handed over under the new social housing program. Operation Refresh at the Retreat Health Center. And St. Thomas hosts its first swim meets. Let's get into it. June 29 is observed as International Fishermen's Day. The National Fisheries Authority celebrated the observance on June 25 at the Alligator Head Foundation in Port Antonio this year, honoring fisherfolk across the island. The slate of activities included a domino tournament, health checks, prizes and giveaways, question and answer sessions, against a backdrop of upbeat music and ample food.
We are celebrating today, honoring our fisher folk who we know are food heroes, the people who go through this windy weather, high seas, the dangerous conditions to provide us with all the delights from the sea. I think it's extremely important. It's something that we do, we are proud of, to show the fishers and fish farmers how much we respect and care for them. This is for all of us to get together. This is a family reunion.
The Anota Bay Fire Station in St. Mary has reopened after a $108 million rehabilitation, which has transformed it into a modern emergency response hub. The upgraded facility now includes dormitories, a mini gym, a conference room, and backup power. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says the improvements will enhance service to 11 surrounding communities.
I urge Jamaicans and I urge the people of St. Mary, especially Anota Bay, to take pride in this facility. This is a reflection of your government at work.
Several residents in St. Thomas Eastern recently received new homes under the government's new social housing program. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness handed over the keys on June 19 in the communities of Whitehall, Amity Hall, Dalvey, and Style Hut.
This program is a well-established, well-run program that whoever we select as the beneficiary, people will look on and say, I wish it were me, but they would say, I am happy that you got it because your circumstances were such that you deserve it. And that is what we have done here.
The program targets Jamaica's poor and disadvantaged population. It was developed to improve their housing conditions by providing quality, affordable units. The Retreat Health Center in St. Mary has been upgraded at a cost of $3.5 million under the Ministry of Health and Wellness's Operation Refresh. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton handed over the improved facility on June 20, noting that the initiative is transforming primary health care and encouraging greater public use.
We are very committed to this concept of primary healthcare reform. We see it as the bedrock of public health. Although hospitals are important and we're spending big money on hospitals, this government, we think that you cannot just have hospitals, you have to have health centers. That's where prevention takes place, and that's where we're treating and providing curative services for certain types of illness.
St. Thomas recently hosted its first swim meet. Little Star, Christ Chapel, and Yalas Infant School were the three schools from the parish to enter the competition. Founder and coach of the McGee's Swim Club in St. Thomas, Justin McGee, has been using his swim teaching experience to empower youth in the parish.
Would like to give St. Thomas a new start, have something live happening that children can be interactive. It's a great life skill. The schools can be a part, and we can help to uplift St. Thomas, take it to another level.
That wraps up this edition of Eastern Roundup. For more information on these and other stories, visit our website at www.jis.gov.jm or follow us on our social media pages. Join us again next time for another update on Eastern Jamaica. I am Michaela Anderson-Gordon. Thanks for watching.
Persons with disabilities preventing them from marking their own ballots still have the right to vote. A presiding officer at the polling station or a friend or companion of the elector can mark the ballot of the blind, physically challenged, or incapacitated elector. The elector and friend or companion of the incapacitated elector are required to take an oath to ensure the intent and secrecy of the vote. No person is allowed to act as the friend or companion of more than one blind, physically challenged, or incapacitated elector on election day.
And that's it for today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow for another informative show. In the meantime, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.